The world does not wait for dreamers to grow up. It moves forward, loud and fast, leaving behind those who dare to imagine too deeply. But some hearts refuse to be quiet. Even when the world tells them to be, Avonlea once felt like a place frozen in time. The fields stretched endlessly, the air smelled of earth and home, and every corner carried a story waiting to be told. For Anne Shirley, this place was more than a village. It was proof that love could be learned, that broken beginnings could still lead to beautiful endings. She arrived here as a girl with nothing but her words and her wild imagination, and somehow Avonlea became her anchor. But seasons do not stop turning, and childhood does not last forever. Anne has grown. Not just in age, but in thought, in courage, in the quiet strength she carries inside her. The girl who once feared she did not belong now walks these roads with purpose. Yet, with every step forward, the world feels heavier. The rules are tighter, the expectations louder. People are changing, and so is the place she once believed would stay the same forever. Avonlea is learning what progress looks like, and not everyone agrees on the cost. There is tension in the air now. Conversations fall silent when Anne speaks too boldly. Dreams are questioned, traditions are challenged. The world beyond Avonlea's borders is creeping closer, bringing new ideas, new fears, and difficult truths. And feels it in her bones, the sense that something important is shifting, that the safety of yesterday cannot protect her tomorrow. Still, Anne refuses to shrink. She looks at the changing sky and chooses hope. Even when uncertainty fills her heart, she believes that growth does not mean losing wonder, that becoming older does not mean becoming smaller. She listens, she learns, and she questions everything she was told to accept. Without thought. This is not the story of a quiet girl settling into the world as it is. This is the story of a young woman standing at the edge of change, holding on to her voice while the world asks her to soften it. Avonlea may be changing, but Anne Shirley is changing too, and she is just beginning to understand how powerful that can be. Dreams are beautiful when you are young. They feel endless, safe, and untouched by reality. But as Anne grows older, she begins to understand that dreams do not live in books alone. They must survive the real world, a world that does not always welcome them kindly. Section 2. Dreams vs. Reality. And has always believed that words can change lives. She believes stories can heal wounds, that ideas can build bridges where silence once stood, but now her imagination is being tested. The world around her asks hard questions. What is practical? What is acceptable? What must be sacrificed to fit in? And feels the weight of these questions pressing against her heart every single day. At school, her thoughts stretch far beyond the classroom walls. She listens, but her mind wanders toward bigger ideas: fairness, identity, freedom, and truth. Not everyone understands her need to question things. Some see it as trouble. Others see it as foolish hope. And begins to realize that being different comes with a price, and sometimes that price is loneliness. There are moments when doubt creeps in quietly, when Anne wonders if she should speak less, dream smaller, or soften herself to be easier to accept. The world can be harsh to those who refuse to follow its rules. And yet, every time she tries to silence her voice, something inside her resists. A reminder of who she has always been, a girl who survived by believing in more. Reality shows Anne that growing up means facing disappointment. People you admire can fail you. Systems you trust can be unfair. The future you imagine may not arrive the way you hoped. But it also teaches her something else, that dreams are strongest when they are challenged, not when they are protected. Anne does not stop dreaming. Instead, her dreams change shape. They become stronger, braver, and more rooted in truth. She learns that imagination is not an escape from reality, it is a way to face it. And even as the world pushes back, Anne Shirley chooses to stand firm, holding on to the belief that hope, when spoken out loud, can still make a difference. Marilla has always been a steady presence in Anne's life. Firm, careful, and protective in ways she rarely speaks out loud. But even Marilla must face the truth that Anne is no longer a child who can be guided at every turn. Letting go is painful, especially when the world feels uncertain. Love, Anne learns, is sometimes shown through trust rather than control. Matthew's quiet support still lives in Anne's heart. His belief in her never faded, and it continues to guide her when doubt tries to take root. His love reminds her that she is enough just as she is, not because she fits in, but because she dares to be herself. Family, Anne realizes, is not about blood alone, but about the people who choose you every day. Friendship also begins to change. Laughter is no longer effortless. Words carry more meaning. Silences last longer. Anne and her friends face moments where loyalty is tested and misunderstandings cut deeper than before. Growing up means accepting that not everyone will walk beside you forever, even if they once meant everything. And then there is Gilbert, a presence that feels familiar and confusing all at once. Their connection is no longer playful or simple. It is quiet, thoughtful, filled with words left unsaid. Glances linger, moments stretch, and feel something shifting between them, something neither of them fully understands yet. Love is no longer a story from her books. It is real, fragile, and frightening. Through every relationship, Anne learns that caring deeply means risking heartbreak. But she also learns that closing her heart would mean losing herself. In a world that demands strength, Anne chooses softness. She chooses connection. Because even when love hurts, it reminds her that she is alive, growing, and brave enough to feel everything fully. Anne stands at the edge of her future, looking forward with both fear and wonder. The world has tried to shape her, to tell her who she should be and how loudly she is allowed to speak. But Anne has learned something powerful, that silence has never protected her. Only truth has. She has seen injustice and felt its weight. She has watched people be judged for who they are rather than what they do. And she knows now that imagination alone is not enough. It must be joined with courage, with action, with the willingness to stand alone if that is what it takes. Anne's words grow stronger, not louder, but clearer. She speaks with purpose even when her voice shakes. She learns that bravery is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. Every step she takes is a step toward claiming her place in a world that once tried to ignore her. This is no longer the story of an orphan searching for a home. This is the story of a young woman who has built one inside herself, and does not abandon her softness or her dreams. She carries them forward like a light, guiding her through uncertainty. As the future opens before her, and chooses to believe in possibility. Not the easy kind, but the kind that requires strength. The kind that asks you to stand tall when it would be easier to bend. And as she steps into what comes next, Anne Shirley proves that growing up does not mean losing magic. It means becoming brave enough to protect it.